Just on Oxford today, there are, obviously, we expected after the tragedy of November 30th, there was going to be a blizzard of civil litigation, and that has indeed come to be true. Some of the liability lawsuits that we are now seeing. But this one that was filed today, this new one, is particularly interesting because they are not seeking monetary damages. Not a dime. WJR senior news analyst Chris Renwick joining us.
Good afternoon, Guy. The number of lawsuits filed against the school now has increased by one today, as a group of 20 students have filed a federal lawsuit they say is meant to force the Oxford Community School District to make policy changes the students and parents feel are required for an effective learning environment. The students say they're not seeking any money in this case, but attorneys with the Gruel law firm say the suit is meant to correct the district's violations of the students' rights to a safe and effective learning environment. Here's what the students claim the district has done wrong. They've deprived students at Oxford High School of their right to a public education and will continue to deprive them of this right until the district undergoes a truly transparent and independent third-party review of the events of that shooting on November 30th, 2021. They also say that there are unconstitutional policies in place which have created and or increased the risk of the school shooting that happened on November 30th. They also say that some of the people in higher positions of power within the district acted with deliberate indifference and or an increase the risk of violence that happened on November 30th. Now, Lori Bourgeot is a parent with the group Change for Oxford. She says the district has scrubbed important information from their website, information that she says parents need. Bourgeot also says they've fallen flat on their core value promises.
Our board and administration has failed us in accountability, integrity, commitment, collaboration, honesty, trust. Those happen to be our school district's core values. Amazingly, those 6 values are still on their website's homepage. They didn't scrub those. They probably should have, because it just highlights how often they've repeatedly failed those values over and over. It's time they were held accountable, act with integrity, follow through on commitments, collaborate with the community, be honest, and earn our trust back.
So here are a couple of the proposed changes that are being proposed. Retracting all statements made in the course of the district's cover story in the shooting. Implementation of a full, transparent, and independent third-party investigation. The end of practice of concealing and minimizing threats of violence. Instead, its engagement of full transparency regarding future threats of violence. They also talk about securing the proper training for administrators and staff regarding legal searches of students, students returning to class if they pose a risk to themselves or others, and the idea of threat assessment that is being brought up. But overall, I think the overarching theme that we heard today from parents and attorneys in this case is that students don't feel safe. They don't feel comfortable sending their students to school. And again, this is not about money. This is about policy changes to ensure that there is that foundation of trust restored again in the community.
I'm curious because the district has gone forward. They have hired a law firm. That law firm is going to undertake an independent review of what the district did and did not do that day. What more do they want? Is it because they don't think that it is truly independent?
So they mentioned multiple times Attorney General Dana Nessel's willingness to conduct an investigation. They talked about not only her office doing the investigation, but why her office should be the avenue for this process, because they talk about there being some of the best investigators in the state. They talk about the resources that could be allocated to this type of investigation. And I think that's where they feel like the real third-party investigation should come from. Obviously, the school has turned that down multiple times. This is a trust thing. And I think that with the delay of an investigation, we have been heard that we've heard that there's been an internal investigation going on, but we don't know where that's at in the process, right? We don't know if they're just starting that, if it's almost done. We're unsure.
Well, we know the outside investigation, so-called outside investigation, just started.
Correct.
And it was promised long ago. And I think it's in some ways, justice delayed here.
Absolutely. And a lot of, look, you've done how many of these types of stories? Too many.
Well, we've talked to Lori several times.
Absolutely. And when something happens, you want to investigate immediately. That's when the information is freshest on some of the people's minds. That hasn't been done here. So it's the lack of trust. It's the lack of foundation now. And these parents are looking to build by this. It's about money. It's about trust. It's about trying to figure out that this school and this district has the best interests of their students in mind.
All right, we'll see what comes of it. It is very, very unique, and we'll see if it leads to maybe yet another investigation. We do know that Dana Nessel's offer was rejected for a third time. They even rejected the gun dog that she volunteered to have at her office's expense, placed in the school
for a year.
Yeah. Which I may have given a measure of comfort. Thanks so much, Chris. Appreciate it.
You got it.
And by the way, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
I'm talking about Father's Day.